voices. Because I want you to, I'm going to remember that you're here and that you're going to be responsible for everything we say, everything you hear. So ho'olohe me ka, ha'ole ho'olohe me ka pipi au wale no, ho'olohe me ka lolo, a me ka pu'uai, a me ka na'au, o you ka mea mui. So listen with your intelligence, with your heart, with your intuitive senses. That's the way you listen to this particular panel. My bio says that I'm retired, and I wanted to emphasize that, and so that's the way I wrote the bio, and I've written that for the last 5 years. They don't pay attention to that. And once you say you're retired, you become busier than ever. Because everybody thinks, okay, she has time. But I'm very happy to be here at this time. I think it's an honor for Hawaii to be represented at this high-level conference about our aina, about our land, about where we sleep, where we walk on. At the heart of Hawaii's belief is nature. Nature are our gods. And I'd like to further introduce this part of my talk by looking at 3 different topics. One is ceremony, kinship, and old wisdom. 5 steps in ceremony. And our family teaches ceremony. That's who we are. And ceremony means you're very connected to your deities. First step in ceremony is that ceremony and protocol is a process of separating the sacred from the mundane. And this is something that everybody can practice individually. Ceremony also establishes a relationship with persons, with your deities, as well as with places. Ceremony is a way of looking at how the codes of ethics of ceremony teaches you to respect, teaches you to have the right attitude towards places, towards people, towards elemental forms, which for us are the spiritual deities that sustain our lives. Ceremony is the conduit that flows through generations of people, intergenerational, with the knowledge coming from one generation to the next. Ceremony allows us, or is a procedure that allows us to reach out into the realm of the unseen. But most importantly, it allows them to reach you. And I want to leave you an example of that. How many of you were at the opening ceremony? Okie dokie. I want to explain a little bit about what the opening ceremony was about, because I know from conversations that people were very inspired by it. It was very heartful, it was very soulful, and that's exactly what it's meant to be. When you saw the gentleman coming up on stage to set up a lele, and the lele was the platform. It was a platform to set offerings. The offerings were vegetative, all of the things of our forest. That particular part of the ceremony was to honor our forest. We honor the forest because it is the tall trees of the forest that chums water from the sky, from the atmosphere. We honor the forest because it is the forest that goes through a transpiration cycle and gives water back to the air. And water attracts water, and the water comes back down in cycles. And so that's what that ceremony was about, honoring our forests. The next part of the ceremony was the dance that the whole group did on the side as well as on stage. That's what we call a hula mano. And hula mano is a dance to sharks. And the sharks are very important to us because they were the ones that navigated through the water and found the hot spots and told us exactly where to go, where the hot spots were. And eventually, and you could see the movement that was very shark-like going through the water. Eventually, the dance ended up with a volcanic eruption. So as soon as you find the hot spot, you find the eruption. As soon as you find the eruption, you find land. That's what the chant was about. The settlement of people as they come across the ocean. The ocean is our continent. It is part of who we are. It's what gives us life as well as our land. And the other thing I want to tell you about that particular opening ceremony is that the ending part, after all the talking, we had more hula after that, more dancing. All of the dancing after that was about hulihia. Say hulihia.
Hulihia.
Hulihia is about changes. It's about big changes. Sometimes chaotic changes. It can be a change of your mindset, change of belief. It can be change of land. It can be change of the ocean, changes of the government. That is hulihia. That's what those chants were about. And for 2 months, the halals from Hawaii Island, from Maui, from Oahu, from Kauai, practiced those dances. Hulihia, hulihia, hulihia. That's what they sent out. This whole idea of being able to reach out into the realm of the unseen. The hulihia is what they were sending. And what did we get back in return? On the morning of the opening of our ceremony, we got 2 hurricanes. We have to pay attention to that. We do pay attention to that. We do pay attention to what our voices are calling. And so that's the whole thing about chanting. You need to know what you're chanting and who you're chanting to. There's a reverberation that go out that we're very, very conscious of. So it depends on how you chant. If you chant, or if you chant, depends on who you're chanting to, okay, and who you want to attract. Well, for 2 months they practiced hulihia, and right on the day of the opening, it was on our doorstep. It was wonderful. It was an answer to many things. It meant to us that this whole idea of IUCN gathering on our doors, when you first heard about it, oh, another big conference is coming to Hawaii. Sorry. But the more we got into it, the more we realized that it's about who we are. It's about this land. It's about the elements out there, the winds, the rains. And we gave nomenclature to all of them, all the winds, all the rains, all the oceans, different kinds of ways. They all have nomenclature. So when we get to chant, we name the winds, we name the ocean that we want to attract. Wait, I got carried away with something else, and I'm not supposed to do that. I gotta stay on track here. Yeah. But I was going to talk about kinship. And kinship is exactly what we did. Kinship is being able to name everything. And that's what our ancestors did. They named the sun. I mean, they still call it a common name of God, but God is a common name. They named it Kani Holani. They named it according to its energy, and the energy is heat. And so they named all of these energies, forms that is around us. And when you get into ceremonies, you send out the names, the nomenclature that's assigned to them. That's dividing the sacred from the mundane. If you want to say mundane, you just say God. If you want to say sacred, you say the name, and you call it out. And that's the idea of kinship. And so many of us as families, we have Hawaiian families, we have names that's either fire names, or water names, or names of rain, or names of wind, names of land, mountains, etc. And it tells us who our ancestors were, or what our ancestors were attached to. And therefore we got those names. Eventually, for those of us that continue to this practice, we actually know a lot about that particular entity. So in our family, we have a lot of fire names. So we keep track of the volcano and what it's doing. And because we live on the island that is very active with volcano, we see year after year after year, those chants that our ancestors composed generations ago come back to us. Same kind of eruptions. And so the chants are about the space. The space does not change. Our daily activities change. Modernity changes us, and that's fine. But the space is the same. And so the names remain. And so we need to, as fire people, we need to know a lot about the volcano. We talk a lot with the scientists on the volcano, and we exchange ideas, because some of the things that's in our chants we don't understand. And we don't see the imagery as well as we should. And so we go back to the scientists, we have a conversation with them, we translate this literally, and they know exactly what it's talking about. And so it comes alive for us again. So we have a nice relationship with the scientists, well, with some of them. Not really with some of them. And, but that's what you have to do. Today, we live in today's day, today's age, and we have to exchange ideas because we live in the same world. And in order for us to get the fullness of the world, we have to be able to exchange. The other thing that I was going to talk about is old wisdom. And old wisdom is exactly what I did at the opening, was chanting my way in here, or our way in here, to actually use the space. Old wisdom is all of our chants. Chants are a way of gathering data. And so it's not like poetry, where you put the niceties in the poetry. Chants gather data. This is the rain, this is what happens, this is the process of water, this is the process how things grow, this is the process how the earth is prepared. And this is the process how the volcano erupts this way, this way, this way, and this way. That's what chants are about. That's what we chant. And the thing about rechanting it over and over again is not only remembering the event, but also calling up another event, just like it. That's what we know about chanting. But that's all wisdom. And all wisdom is applicable today. All wisdom has to do with the space, as I said, and so it's applicable. And we use it because we see it happening around us. Did I talk about everything I was going to say? Okay, so you got it? I know your face. Hope to see you often. Mahalo.